Well, continuing this discussion on the Financial Security Forum, Financial Security 2030 track, I have Amanda Yoho here from Proformex, the CEO of the company, who was one of our panelists today. And her specialty is InsurTech, and an area that we've been discussing as part of the growth and changes of the industry over the next 5 years as the population ages is the impact of technology, and particularly AI. This has been something that's becoming very prominent throughout our industry, and I thought we'd take some time to visit this topic on AI, and in particular, people, worry that AI is going to replace them. What jobs is it going to take away from people? And really, I think in our industry, because insurance is sold, it's a relationship, it's a conversation, it's an interaction.
That's right.
What do you see as the balance between the human element and technology, the AI element, coming together to create more productivity, more opportunity for agents, not replacing them, but empowering them? Where do you see things going?
Yeah, I think this is a really important question right now because there's a McKinsey study that was done that says over the next decade, there will be about a 30% of advisors today will retire in the next 10 years. And each year, we're only adding about 0.3, under 0.5% of advisors. So that means there's going to be a huge gap in the advisor workforce. Even if you quadruple the number of advisors we're getting per year, there's still going to be a shortfall. So there's going to be consumers out there who need that financial advice, that don't know who to turn to, don't know who to talk to. On top of that, what we see on our side, there's an industry trend towards more bespoke, very personalized products. So either it's distribution works with the carrier to have a proprietary product, or some folks want a private placement-like product, or something where they feel like they're getting very personalized attention. So you have these two things that kind of work in concert with each other, which is
that makes sense.
A reduction of the advisors, more consumers out there that need the service, and more individualized attention that they all need. So where does that leave us with technology? That means it's going to be imperative that people use technology to be able to scale what they can do in the industry to meet that consumer need. And it's easy to say, oh, just use technology, but truly, it's the type of stuff that takes you away from the client interaction, which is, to your point, what the advisor really wants.
And you can't replace that.
That's right, exactly.
You want to enhance it, you want to empower it, you want to scale it up.
Yeah, so I often talk about technology making the advisor look like the smartest person in the room.
Right.
Because it alerts them about timely events that are happening in a client's portfolio.
Sure.
Helps them understand when they should be paying attention to certain things without the advisor having to log in and comb through all, dollars and dates and all of these different kind of data points. They're brought in when it makes sense. They proactively reach out to the client with a very personalized, here's why we need to have a conversation about your plan. And then they can use that personal relationship that they have to take it to the next level. And I think, to your point, Chris, and we sort of talked about this before, people working with advisors, they have a very personal relationship. It's not just because of a human kind of connection. You're talking about how you want to spend your retirement. You're talking about how you want to set your family up for the future. Those are very deeply personal things. And so I truly don't think that there's going to be a situation where consumers want those conversations to be done outside of their, their advisors and a lot of times friends.
Right. I talk about AI as technology that can turn one person into a multitude of people.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
So it gives you an opportunity administratively, marketing-wise, data management, to do more. But at the end of the day, those are all things that propel the human interaction.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
Right.
So you need to spend more time on that, right?
Right.
That's
right.
Where
So you're able to spend more time with clients and less time doing the back office work because you have this powerful technology to help you do that.
That's right.
But when it comes to technology and what we know so far, what do you think are some of the blind spots? What might we be missing in terms of opportunities and challenges from this technology?
I think that's a really important thing for us to be thinking about. Specifically because you're going to have to use technology to scale your reach. When you have that for the good side of the business, you're also potentially going to scale the gaps in your business as well if you're not thoughtful about that. So, for example, typical technology phrase, junk in, junk out.
Well, yeah.
But a lot of time people think about that with regard to data quality and not necessarily missing part of the picture. So you think about a financial advisor or an advisor that's talking with a client. They're thinking retirement accounts. They're thinking investment portfolios. A lot of times they're not thinking about life insurance, annuities, protection products, and other types of assets that truly are assets. So if you're having a conversation with a client, how are you having a true comprehensive planning discussion with them when you may not know part of what their portfolio actually includes?
So the technology can help drive the holistic approach. It can help organize it, house it, but the person delivers
it. That's right. Yeah, that's right. And we see that a lot with the ways that advisors typically are interacting today. So when you have that holistic picture, then you can start to have important conversations that bring those into the planning discussions. Like maybe there's a market downturn, a client needs some liquidity. Well, you have a life insurance policy with a large cash value in it. You can use that to help.
Right.
Whereas if you don't have that picture, if you haven't brought that holistic picture together, you aren't going to know that you have that lever for your client available to you. Whereas the advisors that are adopting the technology and getting that bigger picture are. And so the advisors that aren't thinking that way are going to lose their clients to the ones that are.
I guess it sort of boils down to that. I've heard the saying now more than once. It's not AI that's going to replace you. It's your competition that's using AI that's going to replace you.
That's exactly right.
Because they're going to be more efficient. They're going to be better organized. And if you're still trying to do this, winging it with Post-it notes, and and trying to keep it all straight in your head, compared to somebody who's harnessing the advantages of this technology, it seems like the outcome's pretty self-evident.
I totally agree. And I think part of that comes through is not just the advisors are doing more business because they're leveraging technology in it. Their individual clients are going to be able to tell the difference whether or not they know what their folks are using behind the scenes, because those advisors are going to sound more prepared. They're going to sound like they have more personalized thought and attention on each individual case. And that's going to be different from the folks who had the Post-it note that fell off of their monitor the other day. So they're saying like, oh, maybe we should talk about this or that. So even at an individual level, those clients are going to notice, and they're going to go to the people who are able to provide that service.
And it makes sense. And that's how, if you're doing it right, technology is going to empower you to take advantage of this sea change in the population and be there as a winner come 2030.
That's right.
Amanda, thank you so much for coming back in and sitting down with us to follow up on what we did in today's session. Always love talking to you about this area, and I'm sure these are discussions that are going to continue on, and I look forward to when we talk again. Thank you.
I hope they do. Thank you so much.
I'm sure they will. All right.